Well, that was fucking dreadful.
There's no other way to say it. There's absolutely no other way to say it. That was crap. Firstly, let me just give a shout out to Nottingham Forest. That was an excellent away performance. Absolutely excellent away performance, from the way that they set up, from the way that they were able to marshal Liverpool and manipulate Liverpool throughout that game. Also, I think I'm glad that this happened. I'm actually glad that this happened because, like I said, it's so easy to get carried away with what happened with Manchester United last week or 2 weeks ago, and I think this clearly demonstrates that this is just a team in transition. So when I said that this is a transitional season, this is what I kind of like mean. You know, Slot would have gotten his first taste of what it's like playing against a fucking low block in the Premier League. Holy crap. That was a masterclass actually from Nottingham Forest. So mad props to them. At the end of the day, we deserved absolutely nothing coming from this game. We huffed and we puffed, but ultimately we have nothing to show for it. None of our passes reached each other. We looked so disjointed. In the end, we looked like just a bunch of desperate people. Like, you know, like a, you know what we looked like today? We looked like a semi-professional or high school football team who are good, but are like scrambling at the end. Nobody walks out of here with any kind of glowing there's nothing to celebrate about everybody going in there. And I don't want to get into individual performances, but I think just as a whole, it was absolutely disappointing. Especially playing in Anfield, especially coming up after the international break. I would have thought that these players were ready, but they didn't look ready. In that first half, there was a lot of effort from us, but absolutely no quality. Look, I mean, there was one pass, one effort from Luis Diaz where the defender tried to kind of like run the ball out, and Diaz had the frame of mind and the awareness to go and chase it down, and he nearly made something out of it. Look, that ball goes in, and maybe this game changes, but this is what I hope Arne Slot is going to realize is that you're gonna have days like this. And like I said, you cannot really mitigate for that, but we can only look at our own performances, because across the board it was really poor. In front of goal we were poor. The only player I think that comes out with any kind of like, you know, who did their job really well would have been Gravenberch for me, again showing that he's a class player. Trent had moments where he looked absolutely great, and there was a moment where I thought that Slot did something really interesting. He tried to take a risk, so he brought on Conor Bradley in the second half, and he pushed Trent into the midfield, which, based on his two man of the match performances for England, I would have thought that was it. But even he couldn't find his passes, because it was a blue wall. It was like I said, Nottingham Forest played a brilliant game. Really, 4-4-2, compact, no width. There was absolutely nothing going through the midfield, and they were letting Liverpool kind of like say, okay, you guys go through the midfield and see if you can find your passes. Nothing was happening. So at the end of the day, for me, I look at this as what we should be looking at this as. Let me put it that way. Is a good learning experience. Look, I cannot, like, for me, this is not, and there's going to be people who's going to disagree with me, but I cannot put this really on Slot, because the thing is, like, all of these players that play for us have experienced this in the Premier League across the board. None of the people who were on that field today, it was like their first time in the Premier League. Every one of those players wearing this jersey had experienced what it's like to play against a low back. Yet, we were still playing balls lazily across the field. I don't know if the fucking pitch was not watered correctly, because none of the fucking passes could find anybody. The ball was just kind of like stop. But that's on you to adjust to the playing conditions. Look, I'm a professional footballer. Look, I'm not a professional footballer. Whatever, right? But if your passes are not reaching your people, then maybe you need to think of other ways that you can play. Maybe you should think about how you can draw people out. Maybe double up on one side. I don't know, man. But today nothing worked. It was absolutely nothing. None of our substitutions worked. Because look, the subs that we brought on, Gakpo, Nunes, and who was the other one? Can't remember. Connor Bradley. None of them worked. Well, we even brought on Curtis Jones. None of it worked. It was just a mess. And I think for me, what I hope is that this team takes a lesson from this. Or at least, let's put it this way. Arne Slot's coaching staff really kind of like looked at this team and was like, probably shaking their fucking heads. I hope tomorrow they are at the fucking training pitch first thing tomorrow morning. Because there ain't nobody fucking having a Sunday off tomorrow. That was absolutely abject from them. No energy, no intensity. That almost felt like there's no desire. And I'm not going to mention any individual names. But there were so many times where the ball was just hoofed into like empty spaces. Nobody finding each other. People looking at the other one. Are you gonna do it today? Are you gonna be the one that's gonna save it? Like, fucking take responsibility. Go for it. Nothing. People, nothing. This was terrible. But I'm glad that this happened right now. Anyways, Reds, that's it. I don't have anything to add to it. Fuck it. This game was shit. I'll see you guys at the next game. That's it from me. I don't know, man. Jesus, that was awful. Anyways, if you're still watching, hit the like, share, whatever. I'll see you guys at the next game. God damn. Ah!